Let us move on to our next topic, which is finding geometric means. Geometric means refers to the term or terms between any two given terms of a geometric sequence.
Let us try to work on with this example. What is the geometric mean between 32 and 128? So we are going to insert a geometric mean between these two. So this one is our first term. 128 is our third term. Okay? So the first thing that we should do is to find the ratio, or the common ratio rather. So remember that a sub 3 in a geometric sequence is equal to the first term times the common ratio raised to the second power. Okay? So by substitution, our third term is 128 here equals the first term, which is 32, times r squared. Okay? For us to be able to solve for r squared, we divide this by 32 by 32, cancel. So r squared then is 128 divided 32 is 4. Okay? So how do we solve for the value of r? We get to the square root. What is the square root of r squared? So this one will be cancelled. So r, what is the square root of 4? It is positive or negative 2. It means that we have two values for the common ratio. So let's try if the ratio is positive 2. What would be the geometric mean? So 2 times 32 is 64. 2 times 64 is 128. What if r is negative 2? So this will look like that. So negative 2 times 32 is negative 64. Negative 2 times negative 64 is positive 128. It means that we have two values for the geometric mean. It could be 64, positive 64, or negative 64. Let's work on with this example. Insert two geometric means between negative 2 and negative 16. So this one is our first term. And negative 16 would be our fourth term. Let us find first the common ratio. So how are we going to do that? Remember that a sub 4 is also equal to the first term times the ratio raised to the third power. Okay? So substituting negative 16, a sub 4 is negative 16, equals the first term, which is negative 2, times r cubed. So since we are computing or finding the value of r, it means that we are going to divide both sides by negative 2. So cancel. So what would be left? That would be r cubed. Negative 16 divided by negative 2 is positive 8. Okay? So how are we going to solve for the value of r? To get rid of the cube, we need this cube root. Okay. Getting the cube root means that we are going to think of a number that if multiplied by itself 3 times, it would result to 8. So what is that number? So that number is positive 2. So the common ratio is positive 2. So it means that the positive 2 here will be multiplied to the first term. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. So we're done. Let us consider this problem. Insert three geometric means between 5 and 3,125. So it means that we are going to insert this 3 between 5 and 3,125. So remember that this is our first term and this is our fifth term. Okay? Our target here first is to get the common ratio. So how would that be? So remember that a sub 5 is also equal to the first term times the ratio raised to 4. Okay? So, by substitution, a sub 5 is 3,125. And of course, our first term is 5. Of course, the common ratio is unknown. So, what should we do? We divide both sides by 5 because we are computing or finding the value of r here. So, we cancel this out. So, r raised to the 4th power, 3,125 divided by 5 is 625. Okay? For us to be able to get rid of the 4th power, it means that we're going to get the 4th root. Okay? Getting the 4th root means we are thinking of a number that if we are going to multiply that number to itself 4 times, it would result to 625. So, maka-cancel na yung, matitira na lang yung r. So, what is that number? So, 625, if we're going to get the 4th root of that, that is positive negative 5. Okay? Because 5 times 5, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 625. Also, same with negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 is also 625. That's why the value of r or the common ratio is positive or negative 5. Okay? So, this is our, going back to our sequence. So, it means that the common ratio is 5. If we are going to use 5, positive 5 as the common ratio, it means that we are going to multiply 5 times 5. So, this one if r is positive 5. So, what would be the geometric means? 5 times 5 here would result to positive 25. 5 times 25 would result to 125. 5 times 125 is 625. And of course, to check, 625 times 5 is 3,125. So, we have another value for r. R is also negative 5. So, it means that if we are going to insert geometric means between 5 and 3,125 using the common ratio which is negative 5, that would mean that negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. Negative 5 times negative 25 is positive 125. Good. So, negative 5 times positive 125 is negative 625. And lastly, negative 5 times negative 625 is also 3,125. So, it means we have two sets of geometric means. It could be 25, 125, 625, or negative 25, positive 125, negative 625. Okay, let's have another example. So, insert 3 geometric means between negative 3 and negative 3,888. So, let us make this first. 3, and then we are going to insert 3 geometric means between negative 3 and negative 3,888. So, again, first thing that we should do is to find the common ratio. So, since this is our fifth term, it means that we will be using a sub 5 equals the first term times r raised to the 4th power. Okay? So, substitute the value of the fifth term, which is negative 3,888, equals the first term, which is negative 3, times r raised to the 4th power. And then, we divide of course, both sides by negative 3 to cancel out this one. So we now have r raised to the 4th power. Negative 3,888 divided by negative 3 is equal to 1,296. And of course, to solve for r, we get the 4th root of both sides. So this one would be r. What is the 4th root of 1,296? It's positive negative 6. So if r is positive 6 and then we multiply it to negative 3, there we have negative 18. 6 times negative 18 would be negative 108. 6 times negative 108 would be negative 648. And lastly, 6 times negative 648 is negative 3,888. What if the value of r is negative 6? Let's try to find out the geometric means inserted between these two. So, negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Positive 18 times negative 6 would be negative 108. Negative 6 times negative 108 is positive 648. Negative 6 times 648 is negative 3,888. So, again, we have two sets of geometric means. One is negative 18, negative 108, negative 648, and 18, negative 108, and 648. That would be all.
Let's try this. Insert two geometric means between 5 and negative 1080. If your answer is negative 30 and 180, then you got it right. Until our next session, thank you and enjoy learning.